don't love me long time, long time. Sucky, sucky, fucky, fucky, one time, hun.
Hey everybody, it's your boy JR Reviews back at it with another anime review. Yes, I know it's a little bit different. I shaved. Oh. I'm just gonna shout out to you. Don't listen to your family when they say they don't like something, because it turns out they might be, after you do this something they don't say they don't like, they might like the original you. So that's all I gotta say for everyone. So let's get into this anime review. Today I'm reviewing one of my absolute favorite romance animes of all time, and I'm gonna tell you this now: it's the only romance anime to this date to make me bawl like a fucking baby. I was crying. It was so beautiful and like kind of sad and happy, and it was a really good. It was a really good anime. Only 2 seasons, and they made a live action series, which I want to get. Like, I hope I can get like a DVD version of the anime and the live action series as well. And it's called 3D Real Kanjo, or 3D Real Girlfriend, or Real Girl. And it's basically about this guy, Hitori, sorry for that, my brother's talking to his friends. This guy, Hitori, who's in high school. He's in his, I believe, senior year? Might be senior or junior year. I think it's his junior year. And he's an otaku. He's really not real liked by anyone. He's actually considered like kind of creepy and like weird to all the kids in his high school. No one really wants to be friends with him. He has one friend who's another otaku like him, and I'm just gonna call him by Cat Ear Senpai because that's what most people call him, except for one girl calls him that later on, who I'll introduce, who's also an otaku, but she has quote unquote friends. And it's funny how it was to earlier in the series, like, it will tell. It's funny. I forgot how to explain this one. Hitori one day shows up late, and Hitori is like a really smart kid for school, and his punishment as like a detention, he is forced to go clean the school's pool with the school's quote unquote slut, but she really isn't a slut, but she never slept with any of the guys, as she later tells Hitori. Iragashi, or Iragashi, whatever her last name is. I'm just gonna call her Iraha. He and she basically they're washing the pool, and for some reason at all, she just says, "Hey, would you like to be my boyfriend?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." First he says no, and by the end of the first episode, he's just like, "Yeah, sure." And then we'll get a drop on the bomb. They can only be in a relationship for 6 months because she is actually moving schools because her father got a new job, which technically is not true. Well, isn't true at all, actually. Her father isn't moving schools. It doesn't know. We find out later in season 2 what really is going on. And it says in the anime description that even though he's like, he never had a girlfriend, he says all these mean things that are correction. He has never said one mean thing to her. He's just indifferent to how relationships work, since he's never had one. Like, he's never had a girlfriend before. He barely has friends. Okay. The best thing so intimacy, romance, knowing the difference between showing a normal girl, a normal girl, love, like a person, like a regular girl, time, and then showing your girlfriend that same, even more amount of that love. He doesn't understand that. That's the difference between the two. So he gets them into very different situations. Of the series, there is one character that I absolutely hated in his incarnation, and that's I'm gonna call him the blonde dick, or the blonde hair douchebag. Either way, I'm not gonna call him that, even though that's not his name. But that's what I'm gonna call him, because I don't give a fuck about his name. He is absolutely the worst person I've ever seen. Like, I've hated characters. Like, literally, I hate characters. I can give you like a bunch of characters I hate. This guy is worse. I hate the girl from Shoujo, the princess. I hate her. I hate him. He's probably even worse. What happened is, what really was me to hate him is that first of all, he wants Iraha in the beginning. So when she doesn't get Iroha, he beats him up for it, okay? Because he wants Iroha and Iroha does not want him. Also, Iroha also defends him multiple times from people by calling him he's creepy, weird, and ugly and all that, and kind of when he's not either of those things. He's not even creepy, he's not weird, he's not ugly. Anyways, he's in the park one day and after just sulking about, and a little girl starts crying, and he's being a nice, concerned person, like a good-natured person. He goes up to her and says, "What's wrong? What's wrong? You need help?" And she says, "I can't find my older brother." And she's like, so he goes and say, "Oh, I can see what I can do." And turns out the blonde-haired douchebag is the older brother of this girl. He is then he goes and not assumes, just to be a dick, goes and says, "What are you doing to my little sister?" And then he's like, "I done nothing." And then he tells the little sister to start crying and screaming and the little sister, not knowing any better, does that. But the little sister's like, in elementary school, I guess. And now it goes on this thing that he is some kind of low-key pedophile, which he isn't. And everyone in school, everyone, the nose goes around. He gets beaten up. He gets signs written on his back to, I want you dead. You should die. You're a creep, a perv. And to be a generic, give this kid, Hitori some credit. Not once did he go to resort to violence to defend himself. He just takes it in strides. It's because it's something he's used to already. He goes to Iroha, even though they've been spending a lot of time together at this point, and says, "Listen, Iroha, I don't want you to be around me. I don't want this to affect your reputation at school. I don't want you to be seen with me because I don't want this to look negatively on you because of what people think of me." And he's being considerate of her reputation, which she doesn't care about one bit. She's defending him wholeheartedly. Another girl in the school also doesn't believe everyone that he is some kind of perv, which he isn't. One thing I also like is that his favorite anime character or anime girl character is a magical girl kind of thing. It's his knight in shining, I guess his in a way his conscience. Or she'll come up in some parts and talk to him. Only he can see her and talk to her, but that's the coolest part about it. And kind of she gives him advice or a pep talk or something. Anyways, throughout the series, another girl comes in, and it's the other anime obsessed character. She falls in love with Hitori while he's dating Iroha, and Iroha can see that she's falling in love with him, and automatically doesn't like it. Iroha starts crying and after all the attention that he's technically giving this girl, even though Hitori doesn't see what he's doing wrong. Granted, because he doesn't understand what he's doing wrong. And one of the brilliant ways when this girl finally confesses to Hitori that she loves him. At first time she confesses, he runs away, right? The second time she goes, "I'm gonna meet back with an answer," and he literally sits there and says, "I apologize." And and by this time, Iroha was not speaking to him, didn't want anything to do with him at this point. So Iroha goes through a lot of pouting phases throughout this anime, which is really interesting. And Iroha is not talking to him, doesn't want nothing to do with him. She texts, but she finally gets him out, gets her to do one thing for him, and that's wait by the side of the school in the bushes for him. Towards the middle of the day, while the anime girl who also runs a small planting farm in the school on school grounds works there in the middle of the day during lunch. So Iroha is sitting in the bushes. The guy Hitori goes up to the anime girl, which I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even want to remember her name. Okay, and I'm gonna just call her M. Okay, M. Even though that's not her name. M is basically has kind of blackish hair, wears glasses, kind of nice figure and frame, kind of really into art and stuff as well. and she apologizes again for being out forward that confession. He says, "No, I'm sorry. I just never had someone confess to me, and it was like a very big deal, thing, and I just couldn't take it overload at that moment, and I overloaded, and I had to run and overthink things over." And he says, "I come to the notion that I'm sorry, but I can't. I must reject your proposal of dating and like confession." And he's like, she starts to cry a little, but and he says the reason why is, and he literally knows that she's there, obviously, grabs Ira's hand. "The woman I love is this woman right here," and just pulls her out of the bushes. And that's like, that was the first time he actually confessed that he loves her. And I think that's also the end of season 1. That's like the end of season 1. Season 2 is where relationships start to kick off. So the other girl that's a friend of everybody, that he kind of makes friends with, loves the blonde-haired douchebag. Even though the blonde-haired douchebag is somewhere of a player and wants everyone else is like a player, but every time this girl, I'm gonna call her Cindy, even though that's not her name, Cindy. Every time Cindy tries to get with him, he flat out turns her down and says, "Nope, not gonna happen. I don't like you. That never gonna happen." Also, fun fact: his little sister is dating Hitori's younger brother, who's in both of them are in elementary school, which I find funny that later on, way later, when they become like adults, like they're like in their late 20s or early 20s, Hitori's younger brother and his sister are still together and going strong, and they're about to go on to college, which is pretty funny, or pretty interesting at least. Hitori ends up in the series, his friend, the first friend he ever had, ends up getting with the nerd girl, and it's all about first of all, he had started getting feelings for her in season 1, and he finally just tells her feelings. And one of my favorite scenes ever is when he tells he ends up going to her house, for the day, and it ends in them having a sex for the first time, and Hitori has a lot of questions, and so does like a few other people, and it just goes like, first of all these questions he's not immediately not ready for, but he's also like trying to play off like a cool. I'm like, dude, don't do that. You had sex once. Don't act like you're the king of the pack, okay? And then Hitori later on in another episode ends up having sex with Iroha in a very interesting, magical way. They're on a field trip that they wanted to go together, and they have no money, and they go into this place which is which is supposed to be an inn, and the inn person's like, "Yeah, there's no houses are vacant," and then he realizes that they're going to be all alone in the rain and in the cold, and he says, "You know what? Never mind, come in." And he's recently going through a rough patch with his wife. She had left him, or I don't know, and in the room they end up having sex, and then everyone's shocked they did it. One fun fact that I really liked about this anime is that there's love everywhere. There's love for for the parents, for their kids, even though we don't meet their kids. Most of the parents we meet. There's love for really all for everyone. Anyways, as the story goes, in one arc, there is an arc where there's a threatening that Hitori's family might be broken apart because there's supposedly the dad's having an affair. Which, by the way, the dad is just like Hitori to a T. And the fact that the dad is very unemotional. Hitori never really shows real emotion. He's just a straight-faced person. He's kind of nerdy, and he thinks about glues and adhesives and a lot. And one of my favorite moments is when they're looking through an album of how he met his mother, and his mother is beautiful, but when you see her now, she's kind of chubby and kind of fat. No offense. She has a mom's bod. Okay, let's put that. She has a mom's bod. Housewife's bod. Better than be every word. A typical housewife's bod. And really, the fact of the matter is, there wasn't really an affair at all. What happened was that he is his assistant, since he works he's a scientist, fell in love with him. He turned her down multiple times, said we can't go out and have a date, like actual date. But what they did do was go out to lunch and did lunch. And the brilliant scene is when Iroha and Hattori confront this girl later on in the series, saying how you're really literally your affair is tearing my family apart. And she's basically saying, like she breaks down crying, says, "I didn't know dinner would cause that." And they're like, "Wait, what?" "Yeah, all we did was went to dinner." "Well, and that's not really an affair." And the dad just said, and then Hattori yells at his dad, saying, "Why don't you just tell the truth? It was just fucking dinner, and it's not a problem. It's not like an affair. Having dinner with someone else, with another woman, but there's no sex involved, it's not unfair. It's just a dinner." And he's like, "I didn't think it mattered. I think I already cheated on your mom at that point. I just thought it was considered cheating." He's like, "No, Dad, no, it is not cheating at all." Anyways, that all leads down to the real truth. Also, Iroha's stepbrother comes in at some point, and then he just hates the fucking guts out of Hattori for no apparent reason except for the fact that he wants to be with Iroha. And Iroha kind of confesses to him in one scene where he says, "Let me get this straight. You're not really moving to another school, are you?" Says, "No, I'm not. The reason why I'm leaving in a few months is because I have a parasite in my brain that's causing me to lose my memories. There's a surgery that there's offering in America, in San Francisco to be exact, that could fix it. But the problem is that they could remove the parasite. But the problem is by doing so, it might get rid of all my memories." And they kiss and they have like a very romantic moment. I'm trying to hold back like tears right now just telling you this story, guys. It's a really romantic thing. And then season 2 episodes 11, 10, 11, and 12. I think it's 11 or it's 11 and 12, my bad. Is the best, I think, of all the series. I mean, the series was great as a whole, but 11 and 12 were my favorite episodes to begin with in all the series for season 2. Because it's just them 23 years, it's them years later. Hattori is like 24, 25, and he is now working as I don't know exactly what he's working for. I believe he's working as a worker for manga, but I could be wrong. I have no idea exactly. I know he has like a cushy, very pensioning job, very, very famous, and a lot of girls do like him. And a few girls ask him out for drinks, but he always turns them down. The Cindy and blonde douchebag have been dating on and off for years, and now how this all happened of them going out later on is in the season 2. Earlier on, a guy that is friends with the blonde douchebag ends up falling, and kind of asking out Cindy, and Cindy kind of goes on with it for a little bit and starts to make blonde douchebag jealous, and jealous he is. And they end up going out together. Anyways, for on and off for many years, and now, she has become pregnant, and they're getting married. What's his name? The nerdy girl is, I'm gonna call her M. He got married and kind of broke. I'm gonna call Bunny-Eared Senpai, or no, Bunny-Eared Senpai, Cat-Eared Senpai, Nick. I'm gonna call him Nick. Nick, you want to tell his name? Nick is, he's kind of heartbroken by this, but he is now an creator of anime, and the first anime he ever created is just debuted. It's 3rd or 9th episode or something like that, and it was really good, and everyone's picking praise, and they're all, celebrating, and they haven't seen Iroha in years, and they don't even know if she survived the surgery, because the surgery had like a certain success rate. Anyways, at that moment, they go back to episodes. It is episodes 10, 11, and 12. My bad. They go to shows them getting off a plane, and Iroha and her brother is now, stepbrother, are showing up, and they're like, anyway, they're there. And Iroha has a sees Hitori again, and she kind of remembers something that he has his keychain of is a figurine from long ago, which I guess it was something around the 90s. And the figurine, and she kind of says, "What's this figurine? Why do I have it? What does it mean to me?" And he kind of jogs her memory, and they all have a kiss. And they all show up at her. He shows up at a wedding, bringing her, which M comes, and M says, "I have divorced her husband." And Nick says, "Yo, let's would you like to have your dinner sometime?" And he says, "Sure, why not? I would like that." Anyways, it all accumulates to them falling in love again, and him and Eraha. And the anime ends with them getting married on their marriage day, with his parents there, his brother there, and them all crying, and everyone's crying. Cindy and Douchebag are there, with Cindy holding their newborn baby, and them walking down the aisle, and that's the end of the anime. And that has been the story of 3D Kanjo, or 3D Kanjo, or 3D Real Girl. That's it for this anime review, guys. I hope you enjoyed this anime, this anime review. I hope you watch this anime, because it is definitely one of the greatest romance animes, in my opinion. Great. I can't. A 21-minute video wouldn't do this anime justice. That's all I gotta say. A 21-minute video is a 21 34 seconds video would not do this video justice at all. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこのディオに近づいてくるのか。近づかなきゃてめえをぶちのめせないんでな。ほうほう。では十分近づくがよい。Let me show you how to scratch it.